Hang on. Woo! Okay. All right. The grocery store. All right. Grocery stores. Havens of merchandise fitting your every need, adorned by welcoming messages and friendly employees. According to an article written by Katie Thomas and Tanya Morseth from Grocery Drive, they found that 65% of consumers preferred instilling their trust within grocery stores. It's a simple deal. Food for money, money for food. Nothing's more straightforward than a simple grocery store purchase, right? But what if I told you that these purchases were psychologically motivated? What if I told you that the grocery stores have been manipulating you into forking over more of your hard-earned money in a way you could have never conceived? My name is Matthew Wojciechowski, and like you, I too am a victim of the grocery store. Only I have recently become aware of this depravity. Because according to Grace Chuden in an article she wrote for Toast Tab, grocery stores make an average of $623,000 per week, and we are blindly filling their pockets. Many of your favorite products, eggs, White Claw, English muffins, paper towels, and yes, Pokemon graham snacks. All of these share a single common trait. 6. 6. Now you might be thinking, 6, so what? 6 is a good number. Multiplies evenly. You can divide it down to 3. And guess what? 1 times 2 times 3 equals 6. What's not to like about it? When it comes to grocery shopping, I'd like to first turn your attention to a question on this survey that many of you participated in. In it, you will see the overwhelming majority of you go to the grocery store intending to buy groceries to last you a week. 1 week, 71.4%. To further reinforce this, the Elena page of the USDA shared a summary on national household food acquisition, and in that study, they found that individuals relied on 60% of their food items coming from grocery stores every week. Also within that same survey, the majority of you also stated the most common quantity you're used to seeing of products is multiples of 6. 6 and 12 are the top answers. Okay, so 1 week. What does that have to do with 6? Well, how many days are in a week? 7. Now, it's interesting, isn't it? 7 days in a week, yet the most common multiple you see of products is 6. Even in the Bible, the number 6 is associated with imperfection, as it just falls short of the number 7, which in itself represents perfection. To really express the significance of this, let me lay out a scenario for you. Every Sunday you go to the store. One of the items you get is a carton of eggs per week. It's 12 eggs in a single carton. Now, according to Cecilia Snyder, a doctor who wrote an article on Healthline regarding safe egg consumption, the recommended amount of eggs for an adult to eat per day was 2. So each day you eat 2 eggs. By Saturday, you're out of eggs. You don't have any eggs for tomorrow morning on Sunday. A travesty. So you're left with 2 options. You can either go eggless tomorrow, as unacceptable as that may seem, or today, Saturday, you go to the store and you get yourself those eggs. Let's say you do number 2. You go to the store today and you get those eggs. Come tomorrow, you got eggs for breakfast, all is right in the world. The week goes on. Now it's Friday. And once again, you're throwing that empty egg carton in the trash. How can this be? How can this be? To cut this short, you will be perpetually left with two options. Option A. You go to the store a day earlier every week than you did the last. Perpetually every week. Just to make up for that one day of egglessness. Or option B. You don't buy just one carton of eggs. You buy 2 cartons of eggs. Either you're going to the store more often or buying much more than you need per week. 2 cartons of eggs, that's 24 eggs for a 14 egg week. That is a surplus of 10 eggs that you do not need. Now you might be thinking, okay, so the answer must be 7. Make things from quantities of 6 and make them 7 instead. You can have 14 carton of egg. You got 2 eggs a day, that'd be great, right? There's one problem. 7. Admittedly, there are consequences of 7. The first of which being it does not always multiply to an even number. Occasionally, 7 will fall to odd numbers, such as the case is 7 times 23. And with those odd numbers, you cannot divide them in half, because as you can see, 21 divided by 2 will equal a 10.5. That is worse than a 10 or an 11. That is a 10.5, an impossibility in terms of whole numbers. Furthermore, if you take 7 divided by 2, you get 3.5. Further reinstating the impossibility of using such a number in a quantity surplus of this nature. 3.5 egg? No. But I will tell you, there is one number that surpasses the likes of 6 and 7. 8. 8 has the ability to multiply upwards 16, 24, 32, 40, and it has the power to divide by itself evenly down to 4, and further than the restrictions of 6, that 4 can go to a 2. Now, what does all this mean? What does this mean? Why don't we see the products of quantities in 8? Doesn't the grocery store know? Oh, I'll tell you. Big Grocery knows. Big Grocery is playing you. Big Grocery is taking advantage of the state of perturbedness inflicted upon you when you are left with having to give them money sooner every week or give them more money every week. And according to a study done by retail researcher Thomas Osborne, he found that the majority of people intend to go to the store once per week. But what's the statistical number? That it turns out people go per week to the store. 1.6. 1.6. That is a 0.6 inaccurate estimation. And that is not their fault, because I tell you what, why would the grocery store want you to come in there more often? All right. Why would the grocery store want that? Because you know what happens when you go to the store. You know what happens when the more time you go to the store, you become more susceptible to impulse purchases, more susceptible to buying things you don't need in larger quantities than you need, just so you have to come to the store earlier. What do we do? What do we do? How can we counter the likes of big big grocery. What can we do? This is hypothetical Farmer John. Hypothetical Farmer John is a good man. Hypothetical Farmer John is the kind of man you'd find at the Big Rapids Farmers Market. Because see, at the Big Rapids Farmers Market and many other farmers markets, they don't take advantage of you like big grocery. They don't force you into a state of unfulfilling quantities. Though, while they do not have the abuse tactics that big grocery instills, they do possess one flaw. One flaw that is apparent to most. They don't have every product you need. They don't have the kind of resources that big grocery does. Yet according to a statistic organized by the Natural and Organic Foods and Beverages in the U.S., they found that only 12% of consumers visited farmers markets for their weekly groceries. As could be expected. More than 80% of the country is susceptible to the tactics implied by big grocery. So ultimately, what am I saying here? What am I trying to say? My goal here was not to only open your eyes to the deceit of big grocery that has been afflicted upon you with their game of 6 to the week of 7 and 12 to the necessities of 1. It was also to show you that there are alternatives. There are people that will provide for you without the corruption in their heart. Because you, yes, you are more than worthy of living your life free from the hooks of big grocery. Thanks.